Happy morning, dear friends. Here's yours, Dr. Rajanta. Welcome to Demystify with Ajay. Dear friends, in the previous sessions, the data we used was nothing more than simple numbers, and the labels of the columns and rows were the letters of the alphabets. In fact, in addition to being numerical values, data in reality can also be something more complex and less malleable. You will often have to deal with strings of characters, dates and times, or as we have seen in some case, wrong or missing values with NA, and that is not a number. Dear friends, in this session, we will discuss how to manage the most common format of efficient methods made available by the pandas library. It will be possible to import the data into them and convert them into the data format. And of course, dear friends, pandas can be a valuable tool for reading and writing data to files. So the library provides a large number of functions in this regard, often specified to each type of file format. Okay, now let's start with the most commonly used method of importing external files, that is the CSV format, which we just specify it as like a comma separated values. This CSV files, which is the simplest and most commonly used type of text format for collecting tabular data. So let's take for example a CSV called books.csv. Okay, so that contains of some books with other information such as authors, title, code, and of course the date of publications. Okay, so here it is the exact, if we just open in the text editor, we will be able to see this content. Okay, so as we can see from this, okay, the data is exactly as like some tabular format with rows and columns, and here the first row shows the heading of the each column. So this is the exact first rows, and which is separated from each other by commas. And then there are some few lines, each of which refers to the particular book. Okay, that is the exact data. Now, this type of file is easily imported. So by using the read_CSV format, we are just going to import it, and kindly have a note of it. This is what the exact book.csv, and when we just execute, kindly have a note of it. So this is what the data. So generally the individual values within the CSV files are separated by the comma character, and but this is not always true. Sometimes these types of files can also use for language conventions or some applications used to create them, that is other than separated commas. Let me just take one more example. Okay, here I just made this is book2.csv. Okay, so which is always a CSV format, but use a semicolon instead of a comma as a separated character. So you are able to view, that is, see here the same thing here we are making use of a separated with a semicolon. So in this case we will use another more generic functions that read_CSV, and which is perfectly suited to read and write any text file format. Okay, so here kindly just observe, dear friends. So the read table, here we just used the function which works the same way as read_CSV, but has a more general use as it is not limited to CSV files. So where data is comma delimited from each other, but extends to any separate data table from a character or a sequence of characters, so which can be defined by using an optional parameter. So here it is a.s.p, that is a separator. And we then use this method to import that books2.csv. Okay, now let me just make use of it. First of all, let me read it and make it assigned to a data frame, and let me just print the data frame here. So see here, dear friends. Yeah, as we can see, the result is particularly the same as to that of previous example. So these example files are very simple because they only contains a few lines. So in the most real cases, the table contained in the CSV files contain multiple rows. So before importing these files, it may sometimes be necessary to take a look inside them to see their internal structure and the type of values they contain. So in this regard, the CSV function, the read underscore CSV function has an optional n rows. So here it is the n rows parameter that allows us to define the number of rows to import. So for an example, if you want to look at the first two rows, here I have just specified only two. Yeah, here you can just make first two rows of the table contained in the CSV. We would assign the value 2 to the optional n row parameter, and yeah, if we want to take it towards that, so kindly have a note of it. Yeah, this one is red, and if I just want to save it to the see, kindly just to see if I just want to read this, and here it just shows it only the first two rows. So in this example, we looked at the content of the CSV file by reading only the first two lines, n rows is equal to 2. So we didn't pass the result to any data frame. So kindly just see here, we just done only pd.read underscore CSV. We didn't assign to any data frame. Okay, as our purpose way was to have a look of the content. So in that manner, yeah, here we just making a look here. And dear friends, now that we have seen how to import the data in a CSV file, so let's see the opposite operations. That is, yeah, let's assume that we have carried out a series of operations on some data frame. We have processed, and once we have finished our work, we want to save the data in some way. So just as we load the data from textual file to convert them into a data frame. So it is possible to save our data frame on textual files. So there are various methods for this depending on to the file format for saving. For an example, the most common CSV file, yeah, of course, we are just going to make use it to underscore CSV. So the exact method allows us to save them. So yeah, here we are just going to call it as like books underscore saved dot CSV. Okay, and yeah, let me just save it and we execute it and see here. Yeah, it's done. We got here. So see here, dear friends. So as we can see, the content is perfectly identical to that of the books.csv. So hope you are able to see how this happenings. Okay, now, yeah, until now we saw how data frames originally refer to the spreadsheet as a format of a structured data, and in fact today a lot of data are available in this format, that is the Excel. Okay, so yeah, among which the best known is the Microsoft Excel, recognizable by the extension .xls and .xlsx. So given the importance of these files, the pandas library has methods of reading and writing these kinds of files. So here, of course, we are just going to make use of read underscore Excel. So here I have just specified it, dear friends. Yeah, before making use of it, yeah, something, if we want to make use of this functionality, yeah, we have to get in with the installation of OpenPy Excel. So of course we have to install it in our files. Okay, so yeah, of course we have installed this module, and yeah, dear friends, within an Excel file there are several spreadsheets. So as argument of the read Excel functions, yeah, you specify some both Excel file and the single spreadsheet. So here we can just make use of some spreadsheet which we can just make like this. So see here, this is what the exact sheet 1. Okay, and yeah, to import the data contained in an Excel spreadsheet, the source file is the first defined by creating an instant of Excel file. So let me just have that exact extensions of instance of this Excel file. So yeah, this exact Excel file class with the constructor of the same name using as argument the name of the Excel file that is to be read. Okay, so then we use the read underscore Excel. Okay, so yeah, this function to import the data into the specifying as arguments. So the Excel shows and the name of the spreadsheet from which to read the data here. So this is how we are just going to first of all locate it, and here by using the read Excel it is just reading the data, and here when we just call the df, of course we are able to see it. So the result corresponding to that what is represented, yeah, this is the exact data frame. And yeah, similar, the same opposite operation is performed, having a data frame available on which we have performed some processing. We want to save it in the form of spreadsheet in an Excel file. Okay, for this we use the to Excel. So here we are just going to make it use the two Excel functions. But before using this method, it is necessary to first create an Excel writer. So that objects that books to an Excel file which is already or to be generated. Okay, so here let me just make use of an Excel, and here we are just going to use newbooks.xls, and yeah, I'm just going to execute this. So kindly have a note of it. So after launching this command, the pandas will point to an XLS file that has been the name specified in the argument. Okay, so actually this path corresponds to the root of the workspace. So if it doesn't exist, it will create a new one. So the system is now waiting to be able to write data to this file. We can use the toExcel function to be specified directly on the data frame to be saved. So as argument, you specify the newly created Excel writer object and the name of the spreadsheet with the Excel file in which to insert the data. So here I have just specified sheet 1, and let me just see this. And yeah, at this point to conclude, we need to save the Excel file. So for this operation, we still use the Excel writer object from which we can call the method save. Okay, so here we just calling it. Okay, now let me open the exact. So here it is just a sheet 1, and yeah, I think you are able to see the sheet 1 here, and these are all the records. Okay, now let me just move on to the next one. So see here, dear friends, so far we have seen few different file format. So but one thing united them all, their format is textual, regardless of the structure of the data stored inside. So but with the Panda library, the possibilities for reading and writing files are not limited to this. In Python as well as in Pandas, it is also possible to save data in binary format. One of the simplest technique for doing this is to serialize data in binary format in a file by using pickle serialization. Actually, this is a technique widely used in Python. Also, in this case, it is possible to write and read data in binary format. Though actually here we are just going to make use it as like to pickle, and yeah, from the read pickle format. Okay, we then load the data again. First of all, let me just load here as a data. So yeah, we are just going to read it. Let me just make it as the same data frame df. Okay, so from the books.csv, let me just see what is there in the data frame. Okay, we will obtain this This is the exact data frame. Okay, now this time we will save the data of this test data frame in a binary format in a file with a generic extension .dat. Here I'm just making it as a .dat. Okay, but this is mandatory. Okay, we then use the toPickle function. Okay, so this is to a method, this is to generate a new binary file which will call the exact new books.dat. So let me just execute this. Okay, also in this case we will have the creation of a new file in our workspace. So here I have just specified the path where it has to be. Now after making it, now you can reload the data into it using the read pickle method, and here I have just specified pd.readPickle, and as the result we will also obtain a data frame perfectly identical to the original one obtained from the test.csv. And furthermore, the serialization of data in binary format is based on a particular or pre-established algorithm that will only be used for few times. When saving a data in binary format, the use of the data limited to certain environment and only for few durations must be considered. So since it is difficult to guarantee that the data conversion from format will remain unchanged over time. So even for such widespread method, pickle serialization be used. And dear friends, after this session, I think you will have a clear understand of the most used way to obtain data from an external format or external file. Okay, so you will be able to import the necessary data from many different file formats, and you will also have developed the basic knowledge to connect to any data that is from external data from the tables for analysis purpose. I hope you found this video helpful and insightful. I have provided the code used in this video. I have provided the link in the description. And if you want to take your learning to the next level and join us on this exciting journey, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Stay updated with the latest upload. Thank you, dear friends, and happy learning.